Everyone, if you'll please join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Helen, do we have any minutes? No?
No,
Okay.
not
How about
edited.
report? Any report?
We have the December month and report for the commission office.
Or
That's just for our account.
that's for our account,
Yeah,
okay.
just have her show that in the minutes that we received that from clerk and recorder. See if you're spending your money too fast or not.
Yeah. Okay, and then correspondence. I actually do have a correspondence. First of all, I'd ask you other commissioners to, either one of you have any correspondence?
Mr. Chairman, I do. I got a letter from Mako informing me I'm been put onto the Public Lands Committee for Mako, which I've been on that, I think, ever since I've been a commissioner, but kind of a nice committee that I think both of us are on typically, so just wanted to bring that up for Mako. And that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Nothing, Mr. Chairman. Okay. All right, what I had is I was approached about 2 weeks ago in regards to problems down in Whitehall on Highway 69, which is Highway 2 East. Wildlife has been crossing and there's been numerous hits, a lot of accidents down there. So they wanted to know what could be done. So at the same time, I was also contacted of the Red Hill with the flashing light. It doesn't work. And you come down off the hill at the junction of Kebs. So I reached out to the Department of Transportation on a Wednesday, told them what the predicament was going on. And by Thursday, I had an answer, believe it or not, that quick. They took care and flagged signs up for the wildlife management between mile marker 1 and 6. Therefore, from the Sunlight Mine to outside of Whitetail Creek, mile marker 1 as you come out of town, going to the east. And then also they're going to take and put a new sign in and move it up the hill a few hundred other feet. And then they're gonna put a sign up there to let them know in terms of the grade. So I was sort of surprised, but hopefully we've got a good interaction with the Department of Transportation, so that's what we got. Okay, moving right along. Helen, what do we got for calendar review, please?
Okay, looks like this is it for today. Tomorrow, 7:30 AM, solid waste safety meeting. 6:30 Clancy Water and Sewer. Thursday, survey review. Also transportation, right?
No, not till next month,
Next month, okay.
next Thursday.
And it is Commissioner Henry's Friday. And I show nothing on Monday.
Okay, how about you, Commissioner Doolittle? Anything else you want to add to that? Mr. Kirsch?
I've got a couple extra meetings tomorrow. I've got a Clancy Water and Sewer project, kind of a Zoom group meeting tomorrow to go over the project in Clancy. And also I'm gonna try to go up to the Capitol at the legislature tomorrow and try to testify on, the metal mines money. The state's trying to reduce the percentage of metal mines money that goes to the county versus the state. There's a bill to protect that, so I'm gonna try to go up there and maybe get in front of them tomorrow. I think that was all I had on my calendar for this week.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving along to commission reports. So I'll start off with you, Commissioner Kirsch.
Reports, huh? Okay. Go back in time. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks. I had Tri-County Fire Safe Working Group January 9th. They have quite a few applications in the queue. Just waiting on money mostly. We need money to help fund those. They did 83 assessments. The assessments are where they go look at the houses and kind of give them a plan on what they recommend for being fire safe within their acreage. They got burn piles they're trying to get burnt, and I think they've probably got snow on the ground now that they can start burning piles up in the north end, and they're funded. had a discussion about California fires, and probably the biggest thing that's gonna come out of that is insurance and the insurance industry and how we're gonna insure people that live in the bad parts in the woods and stuff. It's gonna be almost impossible to get insurance if you live in the trees anymore, so. Although a lot of California residents weren't in the trees, they were just a neighborhood, so it's kind of a tough deal, but I think we'll see some changes coming along in the insurance industry for sure. Road department, this was January 14th, so what, 2 weeks ago. Plowing Dry Creek and Elk Park, drifting up in Elk Park. Elk Park always drifts, that's always a issue. They repaired part of the Spring Creek there by Jefferson City to get the creek back in its banks. It's been diverting itself over to the borrow pit next to the Corbin Road, and then once it ices up, then it's on Corbin Road, so they got ahead of it this year and cleaned that out. And I forgot to ask Bear how it was doing today, because I think he told me a couple of weeks ago that it was trying to get back over to the road, so. Working with the Forest Service on a Schedule A, that's where we trade services. They grade our road, we grade their road when we're in the area, and I'm trying to pin that down or have more on that as we get closer to when we need to do that. We had a solid waste board meeting January 14th as well. DEQ inspects our solid waste sites. That's here in Boulder and down in Whitehall. Mostly for anything to do with the environmental quality, burying tires, whatever we do in the ground, not so much our transfer station, but came up perfect, didn't have any issues with that. Budget wise, they're right on track for this year, where they're normally at. Right now, we're in a shortfall. When I first started as a commissioner, we had almost $1 million extra in the solid waste fund, and we've been trying to reduce that, and we've been doing a good job with that. Because our budget's usually between $50,000 and $100,000 more than what we bring in with permits and that, so we're getting down to probably where we're gonna have to increase fees just to make ends meet for the solid waste program. We're probably one of the least expensive solid waste programs in the state right now, so we might have to bump it up a little bit just so we can break even. That's what the solid waste program's made to do, is just break even. So our tipping fees are gonna go up. Our solid waste supervisor's been pushing that off, telling the solid waste guy to hold on. And finally, I think he dug his heels in and said they're gonna increase our fees for tipping fees, and I can't remember how many thousands of pounds of garbage we dump a year, but it's gonna be pretty substantial amount that it's gonna increase for as much garbage as we dump, so. More to come on that.
Something Denise talked about permits too. They have until February and the new permits, everyone that didn't receive them.
Yep, that's right. If you got a new permit in the mail, get it in your car, because it'll be end of February. Is that what he said?
Yep, that's correct.
Your old one will work till the end of February, then boom, they're gonna shut you off and you'll have to have a new permit. So if you don't have a new permit, check with Mike and get a new permit. Otherwise you won't be able to dump without paying at our site. So most people are really understanding on that. We had a quick JLDC meeting, which I didn't make it to because I had a meeting right before that, but I did pop in on Zoom. Talking about terms and whose term it is and when it's up, and we got some background we need to figure out in terms for our board members. Our next meeting for JLDC is February 19th at Volunteer Hall, if anybody's interested in that.
It's February 12th now.
Oh, that's right, we did change it to the 12th. I'm glad you're here to correct me. The 12th. We had a Tiffin board meeting January 16th. We're pretty much closed out on the North Tiffin. That one sunsetted, and we had, trying to think how much we had, if they even said, we had quite a bit of money left in that Tiffin after all said and done. Everything was paid up, so that the money left in that Tiffin will transfer over to their rural maintenance district, so they'll have a little bit of extra money to get their roads paved or whatever they're gonna do with that. So, do you remember how much that was, Lydia? It was pretty good, wasn't it, like 12 grand or something? Was it that much?
No, they have more than that.
Was it more than-
26,000.
Yeah.
How much?
126.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's quite
okay,
a
so
bit.
substantially more, okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good boost for their R&D to get some work done up there on the roads or whatever. Sunlight Business Park, we're just kind of moving along there, looking at the asphalt all the roads in there. We're waiting on results from a bore sampling there for the roads to see what's under the road before we throw asphalt on it, which is very, very good to do before you pave something, make sure it's gonna hold up. We're also looking at selling the county-owned warehouse down there. We're figuring out what that's worth. Figure out if JLDC is interested in it and then go from there. And I think that was the high points for the Tiffin. Road and bridge again, anything worth plowing and sanding? Elkhorn's been getting hammered with the snow, even though we haven't had snow here in Boulder. Elkhorn's getting quite a bit of it. We got a culvert up right above the Marks Miller post and pole there up Lump Gulch that's starting to fail. It's not in dire straits yet, but it's gonna have to be replaced probably this summer. We're working on figuring out how to do that because it's a one-way in, one-way out. There's kind of a area that looks like it might go down to the post and pole yard there, and we're gonna try to figure out if it's a possibility to divert traffic there for a day while we get that culvert pulled and replaced. Let's see, anything else worth mentioning? I got a Jefferson Fire Council meeting, and that was January 21st in Clancy. Anything worth mentioning there? Forest Service said their staffing's looking better than they anticipated, which was good. Burning piles west of Basin here coming up. DNRC's hiring for engines. They had 106 fire responses last year, which is pretty low for DNRC. Having some basic wildland training coming up. And yeah, that was about it for that. I think that was about all I've been up to for the last couple of weeks, Mr. Chairman.
Sounds good. A little bit more, you'll have a book.
Yeah.
And how about you, Commissioner Doolittle?
That was way more than I was up to. But mostly getting my feet under me. I did attend my first mental health local advisory council. We went over the agenda, went through some things with the person who's running it out of Butte Silver Bowl and got some things figured out there. And we'll move forward with that. Bob was there with me, so he helped me quite a bit. I did take over doing their claims to pay their bills and that budget, so we'll take care of that. And I will attend the next one and hopefully we'll get some more information and I'll figure it out. Dealt with a road issue up on the north end where basically we're just getting snow plowed into the road where we can't get rid of it. Talked to the road crew about that, talked to the homeowner and got that figured out, so it's all good. And I think we got all of our meeting schedules figured out and what I belong to now, so we'll have some more next time. I hope.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along on the 9th of January, which was a Thursday, the survey review committee met, and there were 2 plots of land reviewed and then forwarded on for approval. Thursday, that same date, Weed Board Council, the meeting was held in Whitehall. Jill Allen advised the council that on Thursday, October 17, 2024, they had an applicator training in Whitehall, Montana with approximately 54 people attending. And the reason for this is because we hadn't met for 2 months, so. Jill also mentioned that she would be involved with the Rancher Roundtable in Boulder on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, from noon to 2 p.m. at the Boulder Fairgrounds. And lastly, Chairperson Corey Fitzgerald asked the council if they would agree to changing the day that they would meet so that the claims would be submitted earlier than the previous time where they were late and having to pay late fees. Council agreed to have their nightly meeting on the second Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. instead of on Thursday night. This will take effect February 2025. Then on the 16th survey review committee, we didn't have one. There was no meeting. That same date, the library board meeting, the meeting was held in Boulder. The board discussed the upcoming state library meeting in the last month of January 2025, and the Butte Library meeting in March 2025, of whom might be attending either of these from this Boulder Whitehall Library Board. Tuesday, the 21st DUI Task Force meeting, Jefferson County reported from October 2024 to present 2025, there were 4 minor in possession, 2 alcohol over the age of 18, and 2 alcohol/tobacco under the age of 18, which would be a total of 4. Nicole Palmer, who was a tobacco specialist, showed the bills being introduced to legislature and explained them. Some were of revising alcohol and tobacco laws, which was to include selling cigars at cigar bars. And they could be smoked within the establishment. This is Senate Bill 150. Then House Bill 177 would revise tobacco, alternative nicotine and vapor laws. This would give local governments greater ability to regulate or restrict the sale of alternative nicotine products and vaping products, allowing for more tailored policies at the community level. This would send a message to the broader public that alternative nicotine products and vaping products are tobacco products and are not safe, but fails to address the synthetic nicotine products in a definition, therefore leaving a gap in the regulation. Okay, and then Tuesday night, or Monday night, Whitehall Town Hall meeting, it was canceled. And finally, last night, Parks, Trails and Recreation Council, Commission reviewed the revisions of the management of Rattlesnake Butte. We found minor discrepancies, so they were edited. Next, the commission agreed to the corrections. And after doing so, we'll forward the completed paperwork to Sheriff Grimsrud for input from a law enforcement standpoint and the county commissioners. This will soon be forwarded to the county commissioners' agenda for approval. Then Dave Miller, who was a guest, showed interest in wanting to become a member of Parks, Trails, Recreation Commission and filled out the completed application for acceptance. Okay, now moving right along. As for today, we met with a road crew, Bear Taylor. Things of his concern were, they're pretty much plowing and sanding everywhere. All over the county, there's missing or stolen signs at different locations. And that's been an ongoing thing, I guess. And in the Boulder area, they're working on the Elkhorn Road, Basin Creek and Elk Park this week. Getting that done, plowing it out, and then they're prepping to burn the brush pile on Molly Gulch, which is off of the Quitten's Lane, is that right? Okay. And then, I'm not sure what this bullion and crystal, it's up on Jack Mountain Bullion and Crystal Superfund authorization. They're having to go through the appropriate authorities in order to start the work on that. Is that correct, pretty much?
Yeah, they just needed our authority to work on the road for access up to that Superfund site up at Basin Creek.
Okay, thank you. And then he's also in the process of possibly wanting to purchase a mileage counter for less than $1,000 for the roadways because of how much traffic we get on the roads and for the requests of things wanting to get done and be done. So with that might give us a better chance of knowing where the problems are at. And then finally, we met with just forgot her name, HR.
Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly, but she went over what we've got for the county as in terms of employment and what they're making, and they're all pretty much all in turn and all in sync with all the rest of the county that they're dealing with, to include the larger counties. So that was pretty, nice to know that we're keeping up with the times. So other than that, I don't have anything else unless either you two commissioners do.
Yeah, the wage survey is, a county will do one and ask all these other counties what their wages are comparatively, and they'll put it all together and do a report, and whatever county helped make the report, they'll send that out to everybody, so we get a look comparatively at all these counties as far as what our HR is paid, what our well, not our deputies, but our jailers, all the way down the list for all our county employees. How our wages compared to what the survey is, and we're really right on cue. We're a little bit less, but a lot of the counties that were surveyed were higher end counties, Lewis and Clark and Parks, well, not Park, but Lake County and Great Falls and a lot of the big cities. So if we're close to the big cities, we're really doing good in wages. So that was all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anything else? Okay, if not, opportunity for public comment. This is the opportunity to comment. We cannot take any action on it, therefore not being on the agenda. So I would open it up for if anyone has anything, and if beforehand, if you would state your name for the record, please. Is there anyone?
Connor Riley, the Monitor.
Yes, Connor.
Hey guys, Corey, I was wondering, could I accompany you to the Clancy Water and Sewer meeting and also to your testimony on the mines tax?
Say it again, Connor. Sorry, our TV must be turned down here.
No, you're fine. Could I accompany you on your meeting with Clancy Water and Sewer and your testimony on the mines tax tomorrow?
Sure. Yeah,
All right,
I'll be going to the legislature earlier in the day. I think that's 2:00. If you want to go up there, our Dan Ellison, our lobbyist, will be there to meet me, and we'll go up there. We're not sure what time that's going to start, so it might be a waiting game up there.
I'll shoot you a text and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I just
Clancy Water Sewer starts at 6:30. Have you been to that meeting before?
Yeah, I have, but I thought you said it was on Zoom. I was a little confused. I thought it was a sort of
Oh,
a,
you're talking about the stakeholders meeting?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that one's in the morning. You're sure welcome to jump on that if you want. That's just pretty much all the funding agencies getting together, kind of making sure everything's all in order. Kind of
Okay, yeah,
important
I
meeting. You're
will,
welcome to go, but
well, I'll shoot you a message, Corey, and we'll figure it out, but thank you. I just, I
okay,
didn't want,
yeah, you're welcome.
Teresa, do you have anything? No? Bernadette, did you have anything?
Bernadette Miller, just public. I had a application in for, abandonment of an easement on our property. And, submitted the signatures and everything when I heard from Ginger, so. I didn't know if it was gonna be on or not.
We gotta go through the formal process as such, and then it will be yes.
Okay.
It's coming.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Well, now we gotta wait till what, 2:00? Or no, non-time up, let's go ahead and do it then, thanks. Good point. Okay, this is JLDC. Update from JLDC, if we can get a report from you guys and we'll go from there, or you wanna know where to start or what to do or what? I mean, because I guess what I'm saying is, well, let's just start this way, with all due respect. I don't know what you guys do enough of. I mean, I've worked with Leah. I don't know what you do a lot, Sam, or Keith for that matter. Can you tell me what your job is? I mean, and what JLDC actually does and, yeah, as a whole? But if you can tell me and then include you too, Keith, I mean,
Yeah.
So I'm the executive director of JLDC. So our mission is to enhance and promote economic development through Jefferson County, through jobs. Try to do affordable housing. We work on grants to help businesses out. And work as like a liaison kind of, I guess, through the county for when grants need to be ran through a nonprofit. We manage the Sunlight Business Park, which is a tip of the district in Whitehall. I don't know what else to add to that without going into all the specifics, but that's.
Yeah, there's a lot. So as some of you may or may not know, JLDC began in the late nineties. And it's been somewhat of a catch-all for the needs of the county, primarily around grants and local community needs. So in the past, we've historically focused a lot on not only TIFA districts and some of those things, but more like childcare and some of the grants that become available through federal state avenues. So we are very attentive to the things that are coming out and being able to communicate that back to the communities and build out a grant plan, which Leah is phenomenal, especially when it came to ARPA and being able to secure all those needs post-COVID and whatnot, which we're still wrapping up. But I came on board with JLDC as the board president. I've been the board president for about a year, and prior to that, I was a board member a year prior. What we've really been focusing on is kind of a pivot from JLDC being a catch-all to be more of a proponent for how we define economic success within the county. I think it's evident to everybody that the county really needs to find more opportunities to offset tax base with bringing more businesses in so that we can better sustain our communities and create a vision that really aligns well with the values and the cultures that we have closely held within Jefferson County so that we don't become like some of these other counties where you lose it all. And so we've embarked aggressively on strategic planning. We revised our bylaws last year, which gave us the catalyst for the basis of how we're going to run the organization. Now a strategic planning. So over the course of the next few months, we have a consultancy that's coming in to kind of brief us as to understanding what we desire as a county, as a community, as JLDC board and other organizations within the county, and then put forth a plan that would be approved by all, not just JLDC, but county commissioners and whatnot, and share these insights with you. And then start embarking on how we move forward accordingly with that plan. There's a lot of activity economically that I think we can capitalize more on. One of the things, without getting into too much detail, is hub zone designation, which is a federal designation that allows a preferred contractual arrangement with the federal government. So we have a $50 million tech hub grant that has been awarded, and the basis of that grant is to drive technology innovation through the grant money, $50 million from the corridor of Bozeman through Butte up to Missoula. That's kind of the main corridor. We see Whitehall as a perfect area of focus. if we add to that focus a hub zone designation, now we're gonna have a lot more attention for organizations to want to set up shop there, which could drive great economic opportunity. And we're under some discussions with some organizations right now that want to take advantage of that. So we're leaning forward on behalf of the county. So essentially, it's kind of a clean house attempt, if you will, of redefining ourselves from the catch-all into more the innovative. How do we define that success and working with the county to do that? So does that help a little bit?
A little bit, Keith,
Okay.
now that hub zone, is that where the Sunlight Park is? Is that what you're?
That's sunlight, everything, the hub zone, so we've worked with the SBA and right now, Marta and Corey and I have been in communications. We're trying to get the governor's signature on it. But the hub zone designation is in a district that's kind of driven by the SBA's designation of south of Boulder, kind of just southeast of where the hot springs are located, all the way down to the south end of the county. So that could be a great large area for businesses. So
What do you see here in the real near future of the progress of what's gonna take place here? Do you know yet, or can you say?
well, I
Or
mean,
what are you working on?
we're working on a lot. I will say that we are in lockstep with understanding the county's needs to kind of tighten the belts, right? What we're near-term focused on is more auditing and tightening those purse strings so that we're aligned with your needs. We want to lessen our dependency on the county for some of the metal mines funds and being able to be more self-sufficient. And then we can offer those funds back to the county as kind of I guess, a more formidable 501c3.
How would you foresee the offset of the funds or the for the metal mines money? In other words, you're talking about like renting or leasing or what, or?
Well, that's gonna come out of the strategic plan, right? Is defining what our future is. Do we see ourselves as kind of a facilities management lease company? Or do we define ourselves more as kind of a catalyst for growth and taking a percentage of the grant administration and some of those things? Those will come out of the strategic planning efforts.
Have you currently got anything going on down there?
We got a lot going on.
Well, I guess what I'm saying currently that's actually going on, 'cause that's the other thing, transparency. I don't know what's happening down there and being in Whitehall myself.
Yeah,
I don't have a clue.
yeah,
What
so
you guys are doing.
we're doing a lot with the business park. That's the biggest focus right now is understanding what do we define that growth of the business park
Right.
and we're in some discussions right now, associated to Tech Hub grant and associated to a number of other things. We're also working closely with Leonard and Tom and whatnot to understand some of the stuff going on with the wetlands projects, working with the metal mines, Barrick as a whole, and then kind of driving that stuff. The big thing in Whitehall has been more of an audit as to how we've gotten to where we've gotten, so that we can kind of clean up the books a little bit and then determine what are the needs after that. Does that help?
So much, so is there anything left, pardon the expression, but hanging that needs to be taken care of prior to you moving on to whatever the next thing might be?
Yeah, there's a lot of things hanging. We've really got to clean up as far as some of the legalities of the contractual arrangements we have within the Sunlight Business Park with some of the vendors and partners down there. We're trying to better define what we're going to do with the Whitetail Center. And then, of course, all this stuff's going to coincide with the strategic plan. So, but we've done a good job. We've hired a lot, or not hired, we brought in a lot more board members. We've brought in a lot more fresh ideas. We're standing up subcommittees now to start focusing on some of these key initiatives. And again, it really comes down to strategic plan. Like that's my biggest focus, is making sure that we all understand what that vision looks like. Share that with you, and then you have the determination to say, should we incorporate this into the county strategic plan as well, or is this kind of a standalone? But I think it'd be very beneficial.
So you have enough, can you actually say you have a board now that you can run with now? Right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's filled is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I know there were breaks there for a while.
Yeah, no, we've had a full board now, right?
The other thing I'd ask, because I'm sort of ignorant to this, so I'm gonna ask you, but you being president and where you're at, who's the boss? Explain this to me.
That's the boss right there.
Okay.
I'm just more of a volunteer to make sure that I'm
So you're
supporting her in every
For
possible.
reference and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess the other thing I'd ask, and to take this the wrong way, but I haven't seen you down there at the CTAC meetings that much. Do you run that, or do you guys have it where you have particular people that just are organized that run those meetings?
Well, Aaron is at the CTAC meeting. I can't be at all of them. It's unfortunately at 8 AM on a Thursday morning and I can't.
Yeah,
get there.
and I
I'll
understand,
be
it's just-
stuff.
Aaron's there, but you've got somebody else that's conducting that meeting, so I'm just curious, your secretary treasurer.
Conducting it. Well, Nick has ran it and Tom has ran it.
Yeah,
and
Nick
we-
has run it. So I was just curious, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no,
You
we-
I
delegate
didn't know,
people.
but.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that we were just the organization that facilitated the meeting room, not the one that had to organize the meeting.
No, not organize it, but, well, Nick's pretty much taking it on. So,
Yeah, our big focus right now is making sure that we have as much attendance as possible to local community meetings and, you know, if we're not able to attend a meeting, we certainly.
Oh, and I understand that, or Zoom or something else, but yeah, I was just curious if CTAC was running it because Nick does down there, so I don't know how it is up here.
Yeah, Sam is
I
actually
can
on
actually, yeah.
every one of the VTACs.
I figured you probably up there.
And Drew Dawson runs that meeting.
No.
So.
Okay.
And the other thing too, I might mention is that, you know, we're really embracing the sister counties in the area. Like, we've seen a great deal of success in Silver Bow and what they would determine as MBAC, right? All the counties around us. And we're trying to define, you know, what happened? How did that occur? And we're working closely with them as kind of a mentor protege in many ways to build that out. So it's been pretty good.
I guess the only thing I would ask, at least for me anyway, and I understand Commissioner Kirsch is on it, but a little more transparency. 'Cause, and I mean, you've explained some of it now.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't know what's going on down there.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy. I mean, we can incorporate this into some of the Tuesday meetings or something.
That'd be great.
We'll
If we could
work
do
on
something like
but-
that, you know, if you got something new or coming along,
Yeah,
And our board meetings are open to anybody. You guys are welcome.
where they at? They up here or down there?
they rotate.
They rotate through 3 areas.
Okay.
So it's every third.
Where's your next
Wednesday.
one?
On the
You can
12th.
just add him to the
We can
agenda.
add everybody
agenda
to it,
email.
yeah.
That way
Yeah.
you're
Oh, all right.
interested, you can come to
Okay.
any of them.
But I'd be more than happy on a monthly basis or bi-monthly basis to make sure that the team is
Okay.
keeping you guys apprised.
Yeah. Thank you. Ladena?
Yeah, just a couple, things. So the hub zone, it sounds like, is located in our, Boulder Valley Milligan Canyon zoning district. Possibly, and that is an agricultural zoning district. That's the main use out there. There probably are not many commercial uses that would be allowed out there. So I think it'd be great if you guys started talking to us about it, because I haven't really heard about the hub zone thing before now.
Okay.
And that goes for any time you're working in the county, because we do have our zoning districts. A lot of other things we have out there, there's covenants with the subdivisions, there's subdivision approvals. There's a lot of things a lot of parts that we have
Mhm.
here at the county and the DEQ approvals and all those things. That's what the planning staff works with all the time and help guide you guys through there. I hate for a lot of time and money to be spent on things if it's something that can't happen. You know, you can look into it and then move on to the next thing, if it's something that's not possible. So it would be great to start working with us more. The other thing is Headwaters Economics is our, economic group, and they're out of Butte. They are our main economic group. That is through the state, how the state set up everything. So I know there's been talk of MBAC and stuff, but Headwaters is our economic group. I just want to remind folks of that. And we have a commitment to be working with Headwaters.
Like, we do work with them. I'm on the board at Headwaters.
Yeah.
Okay.
MVAC's got a lot of proximity to the north section, right? And because of that proximity, they oftentimes cue us into some local needs that may move outside the county. The other aspect, as far as the hub zone, you mentioned the time and money, we're cognizant of that. And we didn't want to spin the county up into too much of this and expend the time and money to go after it. The key factor here is that we have an approval per se from the SBA, but we really need the governor's signature. So before we start spinning up county resources, we want to make sure we get that signature on paper. And then we're prepared to start doing some workshops, working with the county officials and making sure that we get the education out there as to how we start planning for the subzone designation. So we're leaning forward at that point.
Yeah, if you don't have the designation, you can't go forward to apply for the funding.
But it'd just be nice to keep us in the loop from the start
Absolutely.
instead of down the road.
And I think that's where the cadence comes in. If we can communicate with that, I'm more than happy to
Yeah,
do so.
but we don't always hear everything from the commissioners either, so they've got a lot on their plate. They've got a lot on their plate too, so if you guys could just communicate with us. it'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioners?
Did you want to give a report, Sam, or did we cover?
Well,
most
I
of
could
everything?
touch on a few of the grants. Well, Sam and I are meeting with Kelly and Melissa from Headwaters on Friday in Butte. Some different grants and stuff they have available that we're gonna try to partner on and some things. Other grants I've been working on will show up this weekend at the Skajoring. I helped that group put together a tourism and events grant for 17,000. So hopefully it just doesn't all melt off in the next 2 days. So that's coming up. A lot of the way I've been trying to approach grants is if there's a good committee and group moving forward already, if they come to me and I'm like, have you heard of this grant? And I will help them look at it and see if they're eligible. 'Cause a lot of people don't know, so I'll try to work with what they can already do and be practical about it, like the Boulder Earth Council. Debbie came to me this week. I helped her with a grant. But it's a small one, so it's a good stepping stone. So that's the way I've kind of been approaching some of these local or smaller groups. I want to help them out, but I want them to be practical too. So
And Leah, just for their edification, about how much revenue and grants do we work on annually?
So these bigger ones, like the Cottage 5 ones, the most that they want you to ever ask for an admin is probably like 10%. And in fact, if you ask for even more than that, you become less competitive for the grant. So it's not like you can make a ton of money off of running. It's just,
We're doing what, maybe $1 million or so in grants annually on behalf of the
yeah, and
county?
if you're lucky, you can maybe do, it's probably like 8%, 8 to no more than 15. So it's not like a good way to staff anyone, unfortunately.
No, there's a lot, I mean, $1 million coming into the county that we're helping to administer and bring in, that's
Yeah.
certainly impactful. I mean, my personal goal is that we can increase that by 5-fold through the use of the strategic plan and whatnot. So, anyways, go ahead.
Right, we do have the CDBG grant that we are helping with, what used to be Youth Dynamics, now it's Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch, so we got a $585,000 grant for them to build another youth home. So that should hopefully break ground this year. That one is in the works as well.
But none of the ones I want to work on, National Preservation Trust has, I found a new one. I think it'd be great for a few businesses. I want some other businesses to start putting in for more grants. This is the $50,000 one that restaurants in historic buildings can put in for. And I'd love to see Jefferson County, someone from Jefferson County, whether it's the Windsor, the Two-Bit, someone in an old decrepit building put in for these grants. So I'd like to kind of hold an upcoming workshop and see if we can get someone from the county to put into this, because that would be helpful. Bruce's Bakery in Missoula was just awarded it last year, so it is
Didn't-
doable.
Didn't Stu get one for his roof over here?
A Main Street grant, yeah. So, and then up this week I have also AARP webinar tomorrow. I'm trying to get Clancy Gym. We're trying to get an ADA approved door for the gym. We did get a Dennis and Phyllis Washington grant for 10,000, but it's a match only. So we need the other 10,000, hopefully trying to find another grant to match with that one so we can get a new door in. But otherwise, the roof's been finished with the ARPA grant. The plumbing is being repaired right now. The heater's already done. It's all warmed up. So that's been very exciting, but we still are fine tuning the needs before it could be opened as hoping by the summer, be able to host like basketball tournaments and things like that. So, and then other thing I'm working on is a little more vague and it's been hard to track down is things like, say, putting new windows in the treasurer's office. A business can get tax breaks, but local governments can now also get tax breaks if you work it right. But no one seems to be able to tell me how you do it with the new codes, and it's filing invoices. So that's something Pat and I are working on, trying to figure out how to do new windows, get tax credits or credits to the county. So to be
Interesting.
determined on that one, but it was passed last year. Whether or not it'll be held up right now, it's anyone's guess, but so things I'm working on the next couple weeks. I will say I only work 15 to 20 hours a week. I don't know if you know that, Greg. So I'm not here full time. And then come mid-March, I'll be taking quite a bit more time off for calving and then fire back up more normal schedule first part of May.
Is anything that you're currently doing affected by the news this morning?
Yes, I'm slightly horrified because the EPA
So was
grant that I'm really relying to hear back on in May or April, we're probably stalled as of right now.
For now,
until, yeah.
Okay.
I Googled frantically to see if it specifically mentioned the EPA, but I couldn't find anything. I think it's just too new to know.
And that's how the CDBG grant is for YBGR too. I mean, like, we've been awarded that and we're on the process of getting the funds out. But I don't know if that's gonna stall that either. I mean, I don't know if it's for newly awarded things or if it's how that's gonna affect it.
Yeah. So going forward, I think I'll only be applying for like private foundation grants or state grants, thing and just taking clear of anything federal. Mhm.
Well, and it sounds like some of it might fix itself once they figure it out.
Yeah, hard to say.
I couldn't really find much on it, but guess we'll see.
So we're also working, I'm working really closely with MBAC and Headwaters as a collaborative on Tizer Gardens. So hopefully Tizer Gardens is, I mean, I can only say so much of it, but hopefully that will come to fruition. I think that MBAC and Headwaters are both going to use some of the tourism dollars that they received from grants to help Tizer Gardens get off the ground, and it won't be a nursery as it used to be. It'll be more of a glamming, like they're gonna have yurts and they're gonna have wedding receptions and different type events to bring people into the community. And it'll be year round, so I think that'll be bring on. So
And I just talked to Belva the other day, they're kind of hung up right now with covenants that are on the property, and so she's trying to deal with that, but she said it would be more of a wellness retreat center.
ish, yeah. They have some really great ideas. It's a very young couple that wants to do it, so I think they will be in the county for a long time.
I'd just like to summarize again that, you know, we're not a formal organization of the county. We're independent with close partnership. We have 12 board members that sacrifice a tremendous amount of time to seeing the success of this county, and we've got a very dedicated staff. Accolades to Leah and Sam for what they've done, especially like you taking on all the ARPA, but also Sam. I mean, now she is she's really supplanted herself into MBAC, some advisory boards there at Headwaters as well, but she's also part of the Montana Economic Development Board itself. So we're staying close to the things, and again, we're just trying to get things a better understanding of how we define what success is. But right now, we're really focused within tech, trade, and tourism as the 3 T's, as we say, for near term in Jefferson County. So it's kind of big
Kind of,
picture,
yeah.
but we'll do a better job of communicating, and I appreciate the time.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I think we all do. And that's what I've been looking at because I didn't know. I thought, what are you doing? No offense. But now you told me. I mean, there's more going on. I did not know any of this.
Yeah, I mean, I work a 40-hour week.
No,
but
and I
I'm working
understand.
20 to 30
You know,
hours alone
But
on
just
this.
now
It's
and then,
great.
at least, you know, a little.
Absolutely.
But that's all.
Absolutely.
Because I had no idea.
Yeah,
So-
thank you, commissioners. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Anybody else?
It's nice to hear that you're moving forward with a plan to deal with all of that, because it just, from my experience, it was really going and it kind of dropped off a little bit, and I'm happy to see that you guys are moving forward and
Yeah, I think we've got a pretty bright future ahead of us. We just have to get some things kind of figured out.
We need to figure our roadmap out to figure out where to go. And we're there. We got our rough draft next week of our strategic plan, so I'm excited.
Feel free to join.
I've got to say, I've been with the group almost 2 years now, and I still don't fully understand what's going on in the processes and everything. And these guys are newer than I am, so, and they're doing a great job. What JLDC was even 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years ago versus what it's gonna be or what it is now is totally different. Leonard and Tom kind of did with it what they thought was best, and they did a lot of good things, but it's not sustainable. But if the county can keep paying JLDC the way we paid them for the last 2 decades or whatever, it would be fine, but we're to the end of that. So now these guys have to pick up the pieces and try to move forward being self-sufficient. So it's a huge transition for this corporation and what they can do and what they've got and how to move forward from here. So I give these guys huge credit for this huge transition. It's going from this big, whatever it was in the past, to what it's gotta be now and be self-sufficient and not go away, so.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. And it sounds like you guys have a plan for that, and that's great. So
Yeah, like I said, we're really trying to attract businesses that drive economic opportunity, but we don't want to lose the culture and the values of Jefferson County. So it's a very delicate tightrope, and that's where the strategic plan falls into place. But we're all passionate about
So yeah, they're doing a great job. They're, like I say, we're redesigning the whole system. It's definitely not what it was, and it's a
No,
challenge.
things are a lot more expensive. I was having this chat with someone the other day. You can't just go build a bathroom for
Mhm.
$5,000. It's $75,000 for an ADA bathroom upgrade in an old building. So
Yep.
it's like, you can't just do economic development very easy anymore. Like
Right.
those days are done too. So that's a significant challenge.
Like everything else for the last 20 years, it's skyrocketing and.
Yeah.
Bathrooms included.
Well, I can't say enough thanks for the report and thanks for that. I
Thank you.
understand better now, but there's more clarity here now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, anything else?
Can I quick ask on, what were they doing on Elkhorn Road this week? We were gonna move cows up the road on Thursday.
They're
Should I
plowing,
call
they're
there?
plowing up there.
Oh,
snow
the whole.
Not,
Better reach
they're just
out.
taking the snow off the road is what they're doing. They're
Yeah,
They're not
nothing
working
major.
it all up.
Oh,
No,
Okay.
yeah,
no,
no.
it's
it's-
snow plowing is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cause they got snow up here, which we don't have down here. They got snow up there.
Well,
So you should be good.
cows don't love going by the blade and such, and they're everywhere, so, and they're young cows. Okay, that makes me feel better. All right.
Anything else? Otherwise, we'll be adjourned. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yep,
it.
thanks.
Or speaking of Elkhorn,
Thank you.
came in.
Thanks, Connor.
I'm confused. So for the Bull Mountain